Um, I've been looking for, well, not looking for a video to speak on something, but the way things have been going, it's like you scroll and a video will pop up and it's related to a situation that you wanted to speak on. But anyway, I don't think we are failing, or excuse me, I don't think we're a failing nation. The comment there, excuse me. So that definitely, and some of this post, I'm gonna play some of the video. I'm gonna see if we can get to the second part of it. So, what I wanted to speak on is how things had changed overnight. This is how I feel. Dang, excuse me. I feel like things had changed overnight from the end of 25 rolling into 2026. So in 2025 and before, actually, shoot, for the last few years, I think, definitely last 2 years. Yes. Oh man, actually, yes. So yes, so it's been going on to where the American people have been on edge. Are we going to war? Or are we not going to war? China and Russia and the BRICS, they're getting this strong. Our dollar is getting low. They're building, and they done passed this here. As far as they were saying that the BRICS was, that as far as showing their progress and what's going on. So everybody's paying attention to everything. So America has been on edge for many reasons. Now it seems like because and you can kind of see it through the social medias, all of them, how America is feeling about things, especially on Instagram. Well, excuse me, all of them, but how the Americans are feeling, and how the Americans, when it comes to that American spirit is pulling together. It don't matter the race. Everybody's like, yeah, Americans this and Americans that, and actually the Americans are standing up for the law. But there's something in the air where it changed to where this year is different. It's more like, okay, America is tired of being on the edge, and that American spirit is more like, let's get it over with, let's go. And that is the American spirit. It's like, shoot, we're not. And it's good that that move was pulled by America, because it gives a bunch of Americans a little relief as far as showing we do have that fight. We're not scared. We're not backing down, because a bunch of Americans didn't really know what to believe. Are we really a failing nation, or how much have we failed? How weak are we? Are we really? Some of us didn't know if we're scared to strike in certain places. So that was a dang sure good move, or that was a dang good move to go into a situation, and we can see that China and Russia had major dealings going through there. So we're definitely stepping on grounds where we're showing we're not backing down. So that was something to hold over and give a bunch of American people, like, yeah, let's, there's some people that, excuse me, there's some people that do not have the fight in them, but it gave them the relief. But this American spirit I'm talking about rolling into 2026, it's like, yeah, we're trying to get this, let's go. Because for these years, a bunch of people haven't been able to live comfortably. So the American spirit is pulling together, like, man, and we need China and Russia to let us know. We don't want this to prolong. Don't let it prolong until the next president come in. Let's do this right now. Let's get it over with. And we hate to say this, and we ain't saying it in a bad way. I mean, look at all the pressure that's being put on us. Yes, history has gone on. Some of our leaders have done things that they wasn't supposed to do. We're not sure. Some of us Americans are not sure what that story was, or what the story is. Excuse me. So we want to get everything out on the table. And that's the American spirit. And yes, the American spirit, you guys have to excuse us. What America is doing right now is not just from us. It is the American buildup, as far as, okay, we went over there, and you have a bunch of people saying, oh, they're pirates and they're deluded. Or, well, America is known for taking that step, making that power move. So you either have to plan ahead of them, ahead of us, or excuse me. I mean, you know what I'm saying. So, um, And of course, we're going to try and make the power moves for the better of us. I mean, this has been going on for years. Our main structure is our military, and it has to be, because we don't want to become um, not sure what words to use, but we don't want to become a failing nation, you know. So we want everybody to work with us. And right now, while we have a certain president in, I've said this in a recent video also, I think people should try and work with that. Not and now that I'm saying this, not even just America. And America is a blessed land. I see that. I've seen, and I'm pretty sure other people see, as far as how things go for America and for America. Yes, we have all of our other things that people will nag about, and we got issues, but everybody's gonna have issues, and you know, you guys have to excuse that. But as far as what's going on, as Americans as a whole, we're ready to get it done. Let's get everything done, see what's going to happen, so we can move on. We either going to build a better way, kind of like how it was back in the 80s and 90s. That's what type of vibe we want. So let's get it out the way. What's going on? Now, all this, and we need better structure, more, you know, it's a lot of, let's bring it together, because all of this war talk and all this extra confusion and chaos and uh, disagreement, all this stuff is stopping a bunch of stuff, a bunch of things, as far as pulling together, expanding. I'm pretty sure that there's so much more that we could be doing. I know we're already, I mean, from my visuals and from what's going, from what the calculations and everything, as the human race, we are years behind in where we could be as far as advancing. But anyway, and I don't mean to misspeak anywhere, and I apologize for wherever I misspeak. Oh yeah, let's see if I can get this video on here. It's gonna say a little bit of something.
States loses the dollar global reserve standard. Trump said that's going to be worse than losing a world war because we have the ability to print all of our money, send it to these countries, and this country sends all their resources in exchange. Well, now that the dollar is collapsing, you can't build a military when nobody wants to buy your products. When nobody takes the dollar for trade, for silver, for gold, for oil, for whatever resource it is, then the United States becomes a third world country overnight. So the idea is that we need to go rob and loot and extort all of the resources from all of these countries before it's too late and we don't have the ability to do so. Check this out.
If you believe the narrative they are feeding you about what happened 7 days ago, if you believe that the United States military launched a raid on Venezuela just to capture one man, you're missing the single most important financial signal of your lifetime. Guys, open your eyes. What happened on January 3rd at 2 o'clock in the morning was not a political operation. It was not a diplomatic mission. It was a bank robbery. It was the definitive, undeniable confirmation that the United States dollar has officially reached the end of the line. We need to call this exactly what it is. This is the dollar death blow. When you strip away the flags and the speeches, the raid on Caracas was the desperate act of a bankrupt empire that can no longer afford to pay for the resources it needs to survive. Think about it. For the last 50 years, the United States has enjoyed a privilege that no other country in history has ever had. They could print pieces of green paper that cost nothing to produce, and trade them for real things. They could print dollars and get Saudi oil. They could print dollars and get Chinese electronics. They could print dollars and get Mexican silver. It was the greatest magic trick in economic history, but the magic has run out. The world has stopped believing in the paper. The debt has grown so large, $38.5 trillion and counting, that the math is physically impossible. The interest payments alone are consuming the entire tax revenue of the country. And when an empire realizes that its credit card is maxed out, when they realize that nobody wants their IOUs anymore, they don't stop consuming, they stop trading, and they start taking. We have officially entered stage 4 of the empire collapse cycle. This is the stage known as desperate resource acquisition. It is the moment when the hegemon realizes that the only asset they have left is their military, and they decide to use it to seize the collateral. Do you really think they sent helicopters and special forces just to arrest Nicolas Maduro? Do you think they risked a global war just for a photo op? No. They went in for the prize. They went in for the $17.3 trillion worth of proven oil reserves sitting under the Venezuelan soil. They went in because the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in the United States is empty. They went in because they need real, tangible wealth to backstop a financial system that is hollowed out by inflation and derivatives. The dollar is dying, so they are trying to back it with stolen oil. This is the signal you have been waiting for. It proves that the government knows exactly how bad the situation is. They know the printing press isn't enough anymore. If the dollar was strong, they would just buy the oil. They would just write a check. But they didn't write a check. They sent a gunship that tells you everything you need to know about the purchasing power of the fiat currency in your pocket. It is worthless. And if they are willing to invade a sovereign nation to secure their energy supply, what do you think they will do when they realize they are running out of the other strategic asset they need to wage war? What do you think they will do when they realize they are out of silver? Because you can't run a Tomahawk missile without silver. You can't run a satellite without silver. You can't run the AI systems that guide those helicopters without silver. And unlike oil, they can't just pump more silver out of the ground in Venezuela. They have to find it. They have to buy it, or they have to confiscate it. So do not look at this raid as foreign policy, and look at it as the final warning bell. The rules of the game have changed. We are no longer in a global free market where prices are determined by supply and demand. We are in a global resource war where assets are determined by who has the biggest stick. And in this environment, holding paper assets, holding stocks, bonds, or currency is suicide. Because paper is just a claim on a government that is currently resorting to piracy to pay its bills. You need to hold what they are chasing. You need to hold the real assets. And to understand where we go next, to understand why this specific military action guarantees $200 silver, you have to look at the history books. You have to realize that we have seen this movie before. Rome did it. The British did it. The Dutch did it. They all followed the exact same 7-stage pattern of decline. And if you map the United States onto that timeline, the conclusion is terrifying. We aren't just in debt, we are in the terminal phase. Let's break down the 7 stages of empire.
This video is going to be
So,
Worth of proven oil reserves.
everything, you know how they say the proof is in the pudding or whatever it may be. Or, excuse me. Okay, so Americans, the proof is in the pudding. Nothing is. And some things maybe we don't want to speak on. We need to. This is one of those where move in silence. So we're gonna have to go through a move in silence stage because now America, the American spirit, yeah, we're on edge and this is the year we're ready to go, get it all out, let's get it done. But at the same time, we want to be careful so we don't make things more complicated or more dangerous or lose more lives than we have to. Excuse me. So, because the thing is, what I'm trying to say is understand as an American what is going on and what is going to go on. And the more you go against the American rule or the American rules, the American way, then there's a possibility you could be weakening your family. Something could happen to your loved ones. That's if you're an American, if you're here on American soil, or if you're American and you love, you really, so you want to these people that are speaking out against America and the people that just don't understand, or they feel like they're gonna change that whole American spirit as a whole. Nothing's gonna change that. So everyone needs to tighten up and fly together. That's crazy, but listen, that's what I was about to say. The American spirit as a whole, you can't change that. That's like trying to, you can't take a dog and change it into a cat. They say we're the eagle or whichever animal you want to say. You can't. That's what it is as a whole. The American country it's one animal. So by y'all not wanting to function right inside of this animal, it's gonna cause disabilities, or you know what I'm saying. That's what it is, like in someone, something's not right. But anyway, hopefully we can catch on. But America, yeah, let's go strong this year and let's get it all out on the table. Let's see what's going on. And I want to say it again, we need China and Russia. Let's get it all out on the table. Let it be known. Let's get it over with. Let's do what needs to be done. Everybody get prepared. Everybody all Americans stand up. We need all the fights, all the fighters, whatever. I'm talking about, man. Yes, I'm talking about everybody standing up, rising up, going at things.